You ever listen to Gary Vaynerchuk, have you, mate? Took his parents' wine business from 3 to 60 million. Course of 5 years.
His family's one. I'll bet you $100 that even to this day, his dad's going, "Oh, I wouldn't have done that." You know, like I would have.
No, it was after he took it over, though.
Yeah.
Gary took it over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't through the
still,
social media times. He just learnt to move into those markets.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Drew, welcome back.
Yeah, back in Australia. What a great day. And who have we got in the chair today, Steve?
We've got a really good friend of mine, Adam Houlahan. I used to do a lot of business with and work with him many years ago. So welcome, Adam.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
What a windy day.
Yeah, it's crazy weather, but wouldn't think it's coming into spring.
I woke up this morning and thought, because I was in Japan for 6 weeks, I thought, the one thing that sort of kills everything on the Gold Coast is wind. I've got my mate down there that owns the Currumbin boat shed, and he just when there's wind, he's got no business with those stand-up paddle boards.
Yeah, just freezing.
Just everything sort of stops on the coast. What do? We have perfect weather all the time, then all of a sudden we're just stunned. It's windy. You can't surf. But those kite surf guys,
well, they love it for sure, don't they? Hey, I just wanted to touch on a bit of Adam's history. Were you a water ski professional back in the day?
Not really a professional, just did a lot of instructing, teaching other people.
Yep. So tell us about, obviously that's to do with a lot of error detection. Obviously you've had some good clients and there were some terrible ones. What was one of the hardest ones to teach of a client?
I did a lot of coaching with kids. So, as they say, don't ever work with kids and animals. But kids, they're a two-edged sword. They either take to it straight away, or they're just a shocker. Yep. And plenty of times where just the big dummy spits and just mum and dad pushing them, but kids didn't want to do it. So kids that really weren't into it, that their parents pushing, and they're the worst. Sure.
You took that to a retail experience with a water ski shop.
Yeah.
And what was that transition for?
Ski instructing seems like a awesome, glamorous job. So everyone thinks, wow, I'd love to do that, until you do it for a few years and sitting out in the sun and getting wet and whatever. And so it was just something that there was also opportunity. The Gold Coast back then only had a really tiny little ski shop.
Yep.
And a couple of mates of mine who were pretty good business guys, and they said, let's just do it. Let's open a shop. So over a few beers, we decided to go into the retail water ski industry.
Yep. You were up at Southport. Why that area?
One, I just lived up that end of the coast. The other shop that at the time was here on the coast was more south, down in Burleigh. So we wanted to have a good, geographical move away from those guys. And it was kind of close to surface where all the tourists were, but just not quite as expensive for rental properties and whatever. So it was close enough, but not quite in the real high expense surface paradise region.
Sure. I guess just to give a location for that, it's where the new Olympic Commonwealth Games Aquatic Centre is across the road there, a 76 Marine Parade.
Yeah, I drive past every single day.
That's it.
Yeah, wow. So, is it right that you were at Cable Ski World back in the day? Is that?
I was around. I didn't work there or have any direct involvement with it, other than obviously it was a massive boost for our business. So, we promoted the ski shop a lot, and the guys who owned it at the time I knew quite well, and we sort of did a few promotions there with Jet Pilot in the day, and a few other companies. So we had a lot of involvement there, but no ownership or anything like that.
Yeah. You know what I saw the other day? I've got a mate in Gladstone who collects antiques, right? He's a really, well-known guy for it. Fred Williams water ski. Oh. That they hang above a bar, like 1972. Yeah. There's just something about them, that tan and the white straps. Yeah. I only water skied for a few years in my life, but to have those in every man cave needs some of those skis on the wall. I reckon. Yeah,
and Fred, he just stayed true to the good old days of making everything from wood. When the whole industry went to fiberglass and carbon fiber, he still stuck in there making all of his stuff in wood, and he still sold it. It was amazing.
Yeah, they just look so good.
Yeah.
We had Darren Attard from Jet Pilot in a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about the rise of his brand, and obviously it was a big part of Ski Works back in the day, his brand and how good the product was.
Yeah.
Who else did you have as a product that was really a staple in the business back then?
Probably, things move all the time, but you probably remember Hyperlite. Was one of the when wakeboarding really hit in a big way and really transformed the whole water ski industry almost overnight. And this brand Hyperlite is still a brand around today. It's probably not the be all and end all now, but at that time, is if you had if your store had Hyperlite, then you were just a level above everyone else.
Yeah. And obviously you had the other side of the business. You turned into a snow retail, so you had a little bit of a difference of seasonality there. And obviously down the street was Snowbiz, a bit of a competitor. They always had the Brisbane store, so that was big. But I think you always had that real customer experience when they came to Ski Works, and you did a lot with customer acquisition and getting them to sign their data across, so we could always give them the latest information and feed them the latest their appetite for new products and experiences. And I think we really nailed it back then. Is that what your thoughts were on it too?
Yeah, it was. When we first started, we always intended to do snow, and again, everyone just thought we were crazy. It was like, what are you talking about? Snow skiing on the Gold Coast. But I was lucky that the guys who were my business partners at the time were pretty savvy guys, like Stuart Harker, who's one of the top people in Price Waterhouse Coopers, still is. We did a lot of research. We found that pretty much every single school on the Gold Coast did a trip to the snow. So we said, well, okay, let's just go to every single school and tell them you don't need to, go up to Brisbane to get your ski gear anymore. We'll bring it straight to you. So in the early days, we actually would go to each school and do a presentation, tell them what they did and didn't really need, and do up little packs that they could buy, and it just exploded overnight.
What a great idea.
And especially that key word, mate, research for business. To go in and do your research, find out where your market is, and just laser focus that. And you did that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going to the source, beating anyone to it.
Yeah, and it was actually another thing because at the time, when I was ski instructing and I was working for a resort down in Coolangatta, and there was this guy that used to come and stay there all the time, and used to go and play golf with him and whatever. And he was quite a wealthy guy, retired. And this one day we were playing golf, and I said, "Oh, look, it's probably the last time we're going to play together because I'm leaving this company. I'm starting my own business." And he said it was pretty cool. And I said, "Oh, have you got any advice?" I mean, he obviously had a lot of successful businesses, and he said, "Look, the best thing is." And this is way back even before really the internet and social media and all this stuff, where you really had to do research. And he said, "Look, just fly down to Sydney and Melbourne and walk into some ski shops and just say, hey, look, guys, I'm no competitor to you. I'm up on the Gold Coast. We're really tiny, but can you just tell me, what mistakes you made and what worked and give me a bit of advice." And so I thought, that's pretty cool. So I actually did that, and quite honestly, the advice these guys gave me was the difference between success and failure. It's just knowing those little mistakes that they could have avoided.
Can you give us an example? Listeners would love to hear what they would say at that point in time.
It was a long time ago now. It's 26 years ago. But it was, to be honest, it was all about customer service.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it was just love your customer, go the extra mile.
100%.
Even if one of your suppliers is probably not going to warrant this thing, just fix it anyway.
Oh, 100%.
Just the little, little stuff like that.
Isn't it funny? Most people will start a business and they consider their competitor as an enemy.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be that way. They really don't. And you can live your whole life with your competitor down the street. That's Barry. When we spoke from the first day we started the business. They don't need to be a competitor.
No, not at all.
And then if that's set up from day one, you kind of have this good feeling. We're working together. We're building this industry together.
Yeah,
it's a really good idea.
It is. And I ended up.
And sorry to cut you off. I find that people love to. If you were to walk into our shop, sort of say, and say, "Oh, mate, I'm starting this thing," people generally just love to go, "I'm an authority."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And just by nature, people will go, "Yes, mate, I want to tell you everything I know because I feel really good that you're asking me."
Exactly. That's what it is. And people will always, 99% of the time, they'll give you their best advice. So.
Yeah, for that reason, they just, oh, wow, someone's asking me.
Yeah.
My point of view.
Exactly.
So what? Okay, was there a time where because there's a lot of people that do sport and they go, I really think I could take this a level further and start into business. Was there a time where you went, oh, geez, now I'm the businessman, and you have to take a step away from the sport you love you're spending less time actually in the water?
Oh, definitely. That starting any business from scratch is really tough. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of time. I think when I first started, we were working. The shop was open 7 days a week because it's a tourist place, and I had nobody working with me. I think the first 18 months I worked 7 days a week.
Wow.
And then went home at night and did the books and all that stuff. So it's if you really want to be successful in a startup business, it's just hard work. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. So of course, my time on the water was pretty limited, and but of course, after that, when things started to really pick up, and we had a great team that was there, and in the end, the team actually ran the place, not me, and so my time was pretty freed up. So
yeah, it makes it most important to be in a business that you love. Like you love. Yeah, I can work here 7 days a week because I actually love this whole thing. But what was the feeling like when your own staff would come in tanned, and they'd been barbecuing with a bunch of girls on Sunday, and you miss it? Oh, have a good weekend, did you, boys? Damn, what am I doing here?
I suppose that there's the occasional day like that, but no, I loved it. I was very focused, very driven on making this thing successful, and as Darty knows, we ended up with 3 stores in Brisbane as well, and it was it was a good journey.
Because when I came up and met Adam, I'd come from a company called Morty Snowboards. They were a family business, and they really gave the customer a full experience. And when I came up with Adam, and I could see that he was in the same mindset, so we started doing a thing on Thursday nights where we would invite some of the clients in, put on a movie, have a few beers out of the esky, which you probably weren't to do, but we gave them an experience where they'd come in to buy or actually just rent some ski gear. Because we gave them an hour of our time and gave them experience, they ended up buying about $800 or more worth of ski gear. So, and then go away and say, got to go see these guys, I'll give you their time.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
felt like snowboarders.
Well, they did, because we were building a culture, because there wasn't many snowboarders. So when we said, hey, we believe what you believe, they'd gravitate to us. Yeah. And we would be the Thursday night hang.
Yeah, right. So, which is really what you do when you're on the ski fields.
Exactly.
What do we do now? We just
shared experience, shared values.
Beers in a movie or something.
And I think we'll touch on this now with Adam, and that's what people are looking for, that connectability through social media. And Adam, you've moved into that space now. You see the value of that. Tell us about, how you've got that following of, I think you've got 400,000 followers, have you? Or with your LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's about, it kind of grows all the time. It's a bit over 500,000 now, but it's still a few thousand new ones every week. So
all right, well, tell us the secret sauce, because I guess everyone wants to know what's happening in social media.
How does
it's
that
moving
rank
quick.
That must be one of the best.
There's just a lot of ways you can rank that stuff, but LinkedIn is probably one of my passions, one of my favorite networks, and my profile is the number one most viewed in Australia every day in social media.
Isn't that great?
And
wouldn't mind that title.
One of the top in the world, and I think my Twitter profile is in the top 0.001% in the world, and so it's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, it's not really about follower numbers; it's about engagement, and that's what it's all about. Is just creating that same customer experience that Darty was talking about, that Thursday night customer experience. It's just creating something like that online.
Unbelievable.
Because just to touch a bit further, we had general trade all through the week and Saturday, Sunday, but that Thursday night was just for the tribe and the hardcore guys. And when we started to work a bit more through the shop and get better brands in, because the consumers were saying, hey, we want these brands. So we'd say, okay, if you want it, we'll go search it.
Right. So they were educating you.
They were, and we were delivering what they wanted. So that's the idea with connecting the best value to the customer.
Yep.
Rather than saying, hey, we don't have that, go shop somewhere else. We'll say, hey, look, we'll do our best to get that in. And then they'd talk and they'd actually sneeze that through to their friend base and say, you've got to see these guys. If they don't have it, they'll get it.
Yep. Or they'll go to the other shop and those guys don't have a clue.
Don't have a clue. They'd always come up to us and say, we went down there, they've got the best brands because they could buy it through their buying sources, but they really don't know, they don't go down the snow that much. They haven't had the history of being to these international resorts. They really just don't know, and you guys have got that. So social media, you can actually get into who you're connecting to and just get into their behaviour and their social behaviour and just learn more about them.
Yeah, exactly right. And, really the one of the real values of social media